Hi Leo, welcome to your Virgo season reading. This is posted to Patreon on July 29th, and it is from mid-August to mid-September, or Virgo season. So once the sun moves into Virgo, it's important to think about help and the different ways in which help shows up in your life, especially when you need it most. Virgo season is interesting, especially for anybody who has a strong sense of self, let's say. What Virgo season is going to bring you this time around is very interesting because it's also going to do a little dance with Pluto right at the beginning of Aquarius. No matter how you feel, understand that help is just one ask away. Virgo season opens the door for you to mend relationships, begin new, fruitful, healthy relationships. It gives you a way out of your loneliness. It gives you a way out of carrying all the weight by yourself. And the road out is through asking for help, and in some cases, not even having to ask. Just allowing it, receiving it, being open to the people who offer it to you, not having any sort of pride about it. No matter how Virgo season pulls your anxiety to the surface, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. This happened emotionally, I don't know how to process it. This happened, because we do lose a little bit of our ability to emotionally process in Virgo season. The blood is redirected to the mind, right? From the heart to the mind we go. But maybe as we approach Virgo season, it looks like the heart isn't quite done healing in Leo season, and that's also okay. Because Virgo season and Virgos in general are known for help. They are very helpful. And in their season, people in general are very helpful. And I think it's a beautiful way for you to get some of this taken care of, get some of the weight off your shoulders, a way to allow new people in, which can be hard for you. And it's also a way to mitigate this Pluto across from you just doing its, chaotic thing in your 7th house. I think Pluto creates more chaos for you when you isolate. So it would be really, really nice to allow people in a bit. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't want to allow people in when I'm not looking my best, feeling my best, very Libra coded, I want to present a certain way. If I need help, I'm not in a position looks wise to go ask anybody for anything. It's such a strange thing you're saying to me, go ask for help. If I need help, I'm not leaving the house. And I get that. Again, it's very Libra coded. And I understand that you would like to appear at all times from a position of power, much like how the Parisians won't even throw their trash out in the hallway unless they're tip to toe, done, ready to walk out the door. I get it. I respect it. It's amazing. But we have some transits that have put a lot on your shoulders. And it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to feel as if you have pushed a thing, and maybe in some cases that thing is you, that you've pushed a thing too far. It's okay to feel like you need to lay down and think about this a little. It's okay to ask other people to help you think about it. 2 minds are better than 1, 4 are better than 2. It's okay to share with the people around you. This is someone who feels like everything bad that happens to them is their fault. Trust me, this is an easy place to go in Virgo season. So you got to be careful with this, because if you feel like the end of Leo season puts a lot on your back, Leo, okay, then we move with that weight, that 9 of Swords, okay? We move with that weight into a season that wants to overanalyze everything. Always, first and foremost, find a way to make it their own fault, but only in their mind. People are like, well, Virgos don't take accountability. Internally, they do to a degree that is perhaps abusive. It's possible that Virgo season makes you feel like you're so far from perfect because of what you're dealing with, because of the things you're healing from, because of just your general state. It can feel like you've just made too many mistakes. This is regret, this is overindulgence, partying, being around the wrong people, this is loneliness, isolation, you know, all kind of culminating in this heartbreak. It's okay to be here and not know what to do with that, which is when we ask others we love for help. So, first of all, rest, you know, get as much rest as you can. And oftentimes the way we truly rest is when we hand over control of something to somebody else. I think that's also a big part of what needs to be mastered for you at this time. The sun is setting, by the way, which is why the light's getting so fucking cool. You have to allow other people to do for you while you sit down somewhere for a second. And that's also okay. And if you have a thriving support system around you, please, by all means, lean on them. But if you find yourself to be rather a lonely figure and a rather isolated figure, then this is the time. This is the time to either create or get a mentor or take a course or speak to somebody who you think has a very elegant mind. Find someone that you respect, that you can speak to if you don't have an existing support system. But also, if you don't have an existing support system, please use this time in Virgo season to really think on how it's happened. You don't have to sit about and regret it, but I think you'd be surprised to know how much you think about it unconsciously and how much you do regret it. And I think it's probably a good idea for you to contemplate why there isn't a wider structure of support if there isn't one. And I'm not saying you have to blame yourself, but it would be nice to have some sort of cognizance on how you've, just so it doesn't continue to happen. I have to fix the lighting, it's getting too dark. 1 second. Okay, it's still dark Mysterio, but it's better. Now, let's keep going. So, at the very end of August, Venus will move. And I think it also speaks to the same thing as the Queen of Swords, which is that if you don't have someone that you really trust and love to speak to or help you with your troubles, or someone that you can, take the load off your shoulders and put it on them, if you don't have someone like that in your life right now, as strange as a transition as this may seem, it's a good idea to go get some education. Not just for what you'll learn and the satisfaction of it and what it can do for your work life, but also for your health, for your mental health. Get out of the house. Go do something, you know? Get some exposure to other people. Maybe take something a bit artistic, you know, something they're getting a piece of work commissioned. You know, maybe something in the arts, maybe something that is career related that could, you know, push you forward really fast, some certification or something that you can get. I think if you refocus your lack of understanding or isolation, or if you feel, for example, betrayed, if you take these feelings socially that may be bothering you and you channel the energy instead into furthering your work life and your work prospects, i.e. through education, for example, or experience, on the job experience, taking on roles before that you would have you know, turned down because they were too adventurous for you, or you felt like you didn't have, you know, enough competency in that area. Take a little bit of a risk. Do something where you go and learn, and you learn something new, and you can free yourself a little bit. I think it will help a lot with feeling lonely, and I think it will help you let go. I think there is something so divine about learning. It opens you, it opens your mind, it opens your hands, it opens your heart. It will make you a better person if you just keep learning. So, never bad advice. When it comes to money, you have the ability right now to make a lot of money. But like I said in your season's video, keep it to yourself, please. You'll need it later. Don't spend it, don't do anything with it, just keep it to yourself. Don't even really talk about it, just do your thing. And if you're working on something that has an international reach, that's looking super beautiful. So just keep at it. Stay, you know, stay back a little bit when it comes to like being up in the mix. I think that's a good idea in terms of work, and just like keep your head down and keep working and keep grinding, keep making that money. It's a very, very good idea. Now, let's talk about hope. Let's talk about hope and also talk about burning bridges. Yes? Let's see what else in my notes here before we get to that. We have the Knight of Wands first and foremost. And then, so you have a chance also here in terms of work, before we leave it, to do some really interesting collabs. But just be really careful, because you could end up around someone who's like pretending to be like very influential or very helpful or very knowledgeable, and you may want to kind of stick to them because you're feeling a little bit lost right now, but they are not who you think they are. There is deception here. You can be like taken in by someone, especially if you think they're smarter than you. That's a read. That's a read. So be careful, right? The best way I would suggest to not get got in Virgo season is to be, as cheesy as it sounds, to be very, very grateful for the small things. If you've ever wondered why the Virgos in your life are so lucky, and even when they fuck up, even when they hurt people's feelings, even when they seem like bad people, why things work out for them and somehow the road opens up for them, I think it's because they are essentially very kind. Big difference between the men and the women. I'm agreeing with you. If you're shaking your head already, I understand. But overall, they are very kind. And I think their kindness derives from the fact that they're grateful for every little thing in their own lives. Perhaps not what you do for them, but in their own lives. And I think that's something that we can learn from them as we get into their season. I think it's important to remember that every little thing you have is something that someone else doesn't have. And so many things we have, people could never imagine having, and it would be a dream for them. The simple things, the small things, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you have a place to sleep and you have something to eat and you have some semblance of community around you, you should be okay. But if you're doing the gratitude thing throughout Virgo season and you're feeling like, one of the things that you just aren't grateful for or don't have an opportunity to be grateful for is having, a network, a community, a group of people around you as a lion. This is very important for you. But if you're feeling isolated, which, the Nine of Swords is the first card, that's what it's giving. So if you're feeling really isolated and you're feeling really alone and you get into Virgo season and you start being super grateful for every little thing, and you notice right away that there is this kind of like glaring breach where there doesn't seem to be something to be grateful for, whether it's money for you or connections for wherever that like hole appears, okay? It's very important to begin to patch that up. And the first step in patching that up is radical levels of accountability and introspection. Just being really, really honest with yourself about what, these are so amazing, what you have been doing. What's the truth behind what you've been doing? It'll free you. It'll free you completely to go and make a bunch of money, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to understand why you've been sabotaging yourself, because then you can just like immediately stop and go start winning, and it's amazing. So just, if what you'd like is to be a lot more financially stable, then I think spending Virgo season, especially when the moon is in Pisces, I think it's especially a good time for you to come to terms with the things that are holding you back socially, business-wise, and however you deal with that, whatever your belief system is or whatever you can tolerate, be honest with yourself about the level of business you're going to be able to do, depending on how much you're able to tolerate, and gosh darn it, how much you enjoy the thing. Sometimes you guys give me the impression that even though the sun is shining on you and the world is smiling on you, that like things are a downer and there's no room for joy or levity, and that's so confusing to me, because it would seem like that's like your main character trait. But of course, I suppose the sun gets tired as well, but it doesn't, though, does it? I think your melancholia shows up when you consistently allow either a living situation, a relationship of some sort, some kind of treatment or environment that you shouldn't be tolerating, that isn't good for you. I think it can create kind of like a built-in lethargy, like a lion stuck in a cage too long, and you've got to kind of re-socialize yourself with the outside world, where someone isn't bringing your food and throwing it in the cage, twice a day or whatever. You got to go out there and you got to be friends with people and meet people and make connections. And the way my mom puts it is like, this is the way the world works. If you want to live in the world, you gotta work with the world. So wherever you fall on that spectrum of accountability, maybe you decide, no, you don't want to, and then you go another way. But be realistic about what it means for your coin. These things are deeply related for you in Virgo season. The moon in Pisces is very, very harsh light. And that's what we'll be having. We'll be having a full moon in Pisces, and it will become very clear to you that you're standing on the kind of crossroads of a decision that you have to make about how you are, who you are, and how that translates into the money that you make, and the environment, most importantly, that you create around you. I find it necessary also to mention that it would be very, very good for you to be really kind and to check yourself and to watch yourself. If you're wondering, like, why are you mentioning this? I wonder if sometimes you know how unkind it can be when you either don't get what you want, don't get your way, etc., whatever it is. So in Virgo season, it would be extremely beneficial for you to be very kind and put others first. In the spirit of the season, it will suit you the best, it will get you the best results, and it will also win you people's admiration for the right reasons, for your character. Okay? So really good stuff. Some revealing stuff. Some of it's a little, ooh. But overall, mid-August to mid-September is a time where you can, in fact, write your own check. But first you've got to check your priorities. You know that, I think it's from the Bible. When I was a child, I saw, as a child, looking through a glass darkly, right? So much of what up until now you've been confronted with has been easy to win over. And now I think as Pluto has moved into Aquarius, a very serious and grown-up part of your life begins, and it has serious consequences. And you have already started to experience the kind of severity and finality of how those consequences work. I wish I could say that that gets better, but it doesn't. It gets worse as Pluto's transit through Aquarius continues. There is a radical level of maturity and acceptance and accountability that this transit will bring you over the years. But this first bit here, it can feel a little bit like getting, locked in a room with no air, or like the air is slowly being taken out. Again, I think kindness is your key, and also vulnerability. The more you are open and honest with people and ask for help, the more you'll find that people are extremely kind and extremely helpful and can't wait to help, in fact. And any mistakes that you've made, anything that you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for, is showing up here, and it's showing up quite intensely. So I would just do a little self-check, Am I subconsciously walking around kicking myself and telling myself bad things for mistakes anyone could have made and things I just don't know how to forgive? You must forgive. And if for no other reason, do it when the moon is in Pisces, because we could all stand to forgive ourselves for a million things when the moon is in Pisces. Take advantage. And then as we move from mid-September into mid-October, things feel more right. I wouldn't be surprised if you meet somebody who really makes you feel right, you know? Somebody who makes you feel like they get you, like they can take care of you, like they can defend you. Doesn't have to be a romantic partner, it can be a friend, so don't worry. Also someone who like really gets you ambitious and out of your inspiration rut. You know, you're feeling inspired to make that money again. Good stuff. Doesn't have to be a Capricorn, but Capricorn, Sag, Virgo coming up very strong. So these are driven signs. They're organized. They know how to get stuff done. They don't let things get them down. They're resilient. And that is definitely the energy that you need and that you deserve. And these signs are also very helpful people. So along with that, Pisces and that Aquarius, but I think the Aquarian in your life, if you have one particularly, may also be a barrier to you asking for help. Like you don't want this person to know you asked for help, or you feel, your pride is like, oh, I'm too embarrassed to ask for help. I think the Aquarian can kind of bring that out of you. But don't let your vanity keep you from having some really healing good times with people who love you. Don't let your vanity keep you from help that you really do need. I'm renovating. Vedic Leo moon, I'm renovating, and I just keep assuming I can do everything by myself. And my friends, contractor, people in the building, everybody's like, Amber, do you want me to help you? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I got it. Cool, I got it. Yeah, nothing got done until one of my best friends came over and was like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, oh. Not only did I tell everybody I didn't need help, I didn't do it myself either. I just kind of freaked out. And then a Virgo showed up and was like, we need some boxes and some markers. It's gonna be okay. And I was like, oh, it will be okay, won't it? But on my own, bitch, I was here. Like, what box, what mat, like just putting the box on the table. I was like, I'm stressed. And then I realized that if I just shared my worries with the people around me, that they would give me all the things I needed for nothing. So be inspired by me, no matter how much you feel like you can do it yourself. It's okay if you can't do it yourself. And like also see this as a conversation about healing. It's not really about moving. All right, that is your mid-August to mid-September Virgo season reading. I will see you in the Libra season video. I love you.